Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today for this on-demand webinar, Check Verification versus Check Guarantee. What's the difference? My name is Charles Dortch, and I'm Vice President of Sales for Crosscheck Incorporated. In my 16 years in the check processing industry, I've often had people ask me what the difference is between these two services. For starters, they're both proven methods merchants use to maximize sales and reduce risk, but they also have some fundamental differences. In the following slides, I'll break down what each service entails, how they work, and even what industries are best suited for each service. So what is check verification? You've probably heard the term before from a bank or talking with other merchants, but how does it work exactly? Checks can be verified at the point of sale in three ways: over the phone, using a check terminal, or via the internet. This means you don't have to rent or purchase equipment to use the service. No matter which method you choose, the consumer's check is verified against their check writing history, which is held in an external database. Once the check has been run through the system, a recommended or not recommended message is given to the merchant. At this point, the merchant can choose either recommendation, but know that accepting a not recommended check payment can be very risky to your bottom line because there's no telling if you'll actually receive payment from the customer. Payments industry veterans such as myself understand that peace of mind is very important to merchants. For them to receive an accept recommendation, there's a sense of relief knowing the check is good and they'll receive funds. Check Guarantee takes this peace of mind a step further, which I'll discuss here in a minute. Check verification traditionally works with merchants that enjoy high volume, low-ticket items such as grocery stores, gas stations, small and large retail establishments, and a host of others. Now, I know you might be saying, but Charles, I don't have a business in any of these categories. That's okay. Trust me. Check verification is not exclusive to these industries. It's just that they are the most frequent merchants that use the service in my experience. Everybody's business goals are different. I've seen some merchants use verification but not guarantee, whereas another merchant in the same industry chooses to use both services in its operations. You can also complement check verification with other check service programs, which leads me to check guarantee. Now, as you can see here, check guarantee works similar to verification because check payments are guaranteed using the same three methods. The key difference is if an approved check is returned from the bank unpaid, you can submit the check to your check service provider for reimbursement. An added bonus for check guarantee is that out-of-town, out-of-state, and even U.S. territory checks are covered. So for those of you that have customers originating in Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands, don't worry. As I mentioned on the previous slide, if an approved check is returned unpaid, check guarantee allows you to submit the check to your provider for payment. Check service providers often have warranty guidelines and maximum reimbursement levels, so make sure you read them closely. Check guarantee is especially helpful for merchants that have customers paying with what are known as NSF or non-sufficient funds checks. Some of you may be more familiar with the term bounce checks. It's really the same thing. Essentially, customers who don't have enough money in their checking account to pay for a good or service, they issue the check, you deposit the check, and it's returned to you. Now, having one customer's check bounce is costly enough to your sales, let alone multiple. Along with check guarantee, some common premium services that can be attached are multiple check, aka hold check, stop payment, and COD or check on delivery. I won't go into detail on these in this podcast, but I welcome you to check out their product pages on our website for specifics. Now, what business types typically use this service? Well, check guarantee works best with auto dealers, in the auto aftermarket, auto repair shops, the building materials industry, the home furnishings industry, and veterinarians. Now, let me ask you a question. What do all of these business types have in common? They are all high-ticket, lower-volume industries. Compared to check verification, check guarantee operates on the other end of the spectrum, as you can see here. But again, don't panic because these are not the only industries that can use check guarantee. Now that I've covered the differences between check verification and check guarantee, you might be saying, Well, Charles, that's all well and good, but nobody writes checks anymore. This is a common statement in the check service industry with a lot of consumers preferring to use debit and credit plus all of the mobile payment options that continue to pop up. But quite simply, there are a lot of things you can't buy with plastic, such as a new car or truck. And even if consumers are able to buy things with plastic, high interest rates typically pose problems. This leads me to my point here in this chart by Nacha. As you can see, checks remain the most preferred payment method at 31%, even more so than debit and credit cards combined. The point I'm making here is this. If your business's goal is to maximize sales from all types of customers, it's in your best interest to accept check payments because they are still in high demand. And who knows, they might just push you over the top to new profit levels. The last thing we'll go over is what a bad check really costs your business, and it's not just the face value of the check either. This table shows what level of sales your business will need to overcome after experiencing a bounce check. Now don't worry if you're not a numbers person, I'll walk you through two examples. First, let's say you have a 5% profit margin and you've accumulated $2,000 worth of bad checks. Following the 5% column down to $2,000, you see that you'll need an extra $40,000 in sales to make up for that small amount of $2,000 in bad checks. Or how about this? Let's say you operate with a 3% profit margin and you have $5,000 in bad checks. In this scenario, you'll need more than $166,000 to make up for those return checks. I could go on, but I think you get the point, and I hope you're able to see that check verification and check guarantee can certainly help eliminate bad checks and reimburse you in the event they're returned unpaid. Crosscheck has been in the industry for 30 years and offer both check verification and check guarantee along with electronic check processing services. These services have proven to increase sales and save merchants, just like yourselves, time and money. But what really sets us apart from the competition is that we're rated very highly by the Better Business Bureau. We have the highest check approval rates in the industry, and we provide free loaner equipment to get you up and running quickly. And finally, our customer service department is on hand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days per year, and those calls are free. Of course, this includes all major holidays because we do have merchants that operate on holidays. If you recall from earlier, I mentioned industries that typically use check verification and check guarantee. Well, here's a sampling of associations Crosscheck is partnered with based on those industries, such as auto dealers, home furnishings, and a few payments groups such as ETA and Nacha. In our experience, it's important to align ourselves with experts in each industry to understand merchants' concerns and how they operate in order to offer a better service. These groups, along with many others, are leaders in their industry, and we're proud to be associated with each one. And with that, I'll wrap it up. I hope I was able to shed some light on the differences between check verification and check guarantee, as well as the business types that are best suited for each one. If you have any questions about either service or would like to know more about the premiums I mentioned earlier, please don't hesitate to contact me at charlesd@cross-check.com or at area code 707-665-2100, extension 2500. Again, thanks for listening and have a wonderful day.